Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1213 of FloWrestling Radio, live from Austin, Texas. We are back in the studio here in Austin after an incredible weekend at NCAAs in Cleveland. I'm your host, Christian Piles. This show brought to you by our friends at Nike Wrestling. To the right, that's David Bray back. He's been here the better part of a week.
Love it. This is my second home.
Kozak is being a Michigan man and all that comes with that.
The good news is some people, they look at Kozak, they look at me, they can't tell the difference.
Yeah, that is odd. That is odd to me. To the left, he is a one of one, Andrew Spencer Spey. The only man he gets confused with is Harry Connick Jr.
I get that, yeah. Oh, I got
Roger Reyna.
Roger Reyna's son.
And Roger Reyna. I've been called that.
Harry Connick Jr.'s brother.
I got heckled on St. Patrick's Day just walking to our parking garage, and some drunk woman at a bar said, just started pointing and yelling Will Ferrell at me.
Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
That is...
Right? I guess just... I don't
Maybe
know.
Bray can pull up a side-by-side.
He's got curly hair.
He's got curly hair. He's tall.
Let's see.
I think they were just like, white guy, Will Ferrell.
White guy, tall. Oh, wow. Oh,
What do
I
we think?
see it. I see it.
What do we
Will
think?
Ferrell wishes, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've been called worse, so.
To the far left, another one of one. Tom Selleck aspires to be him.
Oh.
James Dean Rader. He's here. We were in Cleveland. You two weren't, so that's good. We'll have some different perspectives here on what was agreed by people there and watching. This was an incredible NCAA tournament. Start to finish, excitement, start to finish, drama, high-level wrestling. The semifinal round always delivers. The finals were incredible, in my opinion. JD, why don't you get it started?
Let's start with team race talk and the historical performance Penn State put on. They broke the record last year. Mm-hmm. They broke it again this year.
Yeah, third year in a row they've broken the record.
So my question is this the greatest NCAA team of all time?
I mean, it's certainly up there. 6 in the finals. That's a record, ties the record. They nearly had more. I would put it up there. You know, the amount of bonus points, the dominance that they showed, I think is what really stands out. Them having twice as many bonus points as Oklahoma State. That's incredible. 40 and a half bonus points. You know, the last 2 years they had scored 35 and 35 and a half and 36, something like that. 4 more bonus points. That's significant. I would say if you have the record, I'd say it. Yeah, absolutely.
And there was no doubt all year long either. It was like, it's not like they had like a out of their mind performance at NCAAs. It was like, this is in line of what we expected from a team that's good. They did well. They didn't falter really, but
The only thing you could hang your hat on if you say last year's team is better is 10As.
Sure, you could. I just, Braden Davis and Cole Mirsola not placing. That would have been. They were good enough to place, or at least I think Cole was. That is a differentiator. Yeah, it's a matter of opinion. I think this team. There's a lot of overlap with the same guys from a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I would say they're probably slightly better versions in different cases.
Now, let's already look ahead to next year and what their lineup is going to look like next year, because as they do every year, they're going to have some lineup questions, some issues, some synergy, who's going to go what weight, stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of people are already looking to next year. We had a ton of questions about Penn State's lineup, Oklahoma State's lineup for next year. Penn State only loses Levi Haynes from their starting lineup, and they're getting a lot, and they had a lot waiting in the wings. Tyler Kasak obviously redshirted. Last March, like pretty much this show last year, I said they're going to redshirt Kasak and wrestle PJ right away at 57. And then I thought the plan would be for this coming year, flip-flop, Tyler goes, PJ redshirts. I'm not as sure you do that now, and I'm wondering if you're Mitchell, do you go up, make room for PJ? I just think it's going to be tough to shelf PJ for a year, and you can keep Mitchell. I don't think you necessarily have to redshirt PJ to get your best lineup on the mat. I think PJ definitely will do really well at 165 next year. if that's what they intend to do. I mean, it'll depend on what Mitchell wants to do. I think he could go up and win 174 if he wants to. But other than that, that middleweight section and 141, I think, are really the only questions. Like, next year, does Marcus Blaze stay at 33? He looked like a 33 to me. You look at him next to Seidel, who I thought was the biggest guy at the weight. He was just enormous, and that physicality seemed to play a role. I think Seidel's going to move up. But I think Blaze probably stays at 33. If I had to guess, I don't know. He could say, no, I want to go up to 41. I want to start to position myself as a 65 for that Olympic run. So that could be a thing. He's like, yeah, maybe I could go 33 again, but I'll go up. We'll see. And I think, honestly, the international season, will say a lot on that. And now for 41 or 33, do we see Ono or is it Nate Desmond? And the more I just kind of watch this from afar with no inside information, the less I feel like we're going to see Ono as the guy at a Big Tens or NCAA tournament. Unfortunately, I think we all want to see it, but him not getting on the mat at all, I feel like, is he going to be able to establish himself as the best option for Penn State with 0 folk-style matches going into next year? I think that's tough to say. I think Nate Desmond proved a lot this year. And Braden Davis isn't going anywhere. I'm sure they have other guys coming in, too, that I'm forgetting about. So I think more and more this Penn State time for Ono is just going to be a time or like a cool experience. But I'm not as sure that he gets in the lineup now as I was. I think it was this show last year where Massa came on the show and announced he was going to Penn State. And that was awesome. And it's still been really cool, but we haven't got to watch him wrestle. He's just kind of been there. So they're not going to throw out Massa as a novelty. Oh, this is cool to have. He will have to be unimpeachably their best guy to be on the mat. So I don't know. He still could prove that, but I'm not as sure just because he's not on the mat.
When you think about Ono versus a guy like Aaron Seidel,
Yeah,
Seidel gets on top of Ono. Come on, he's getting tilted.
yeah.
I'd like to see Ono do freestyle matches too, at the very least. We haven't seen that either.
Yeah, I think there's been reasons for it. I think
Sure.
he's had it sounded like issues with the weight and some health things he was dealing with. After that.
Yeah, I don't think he's avoiding mat time on
No.
purpose. It's just selfishly, I'd like to see him wrestle.
Yeah, of course. We're all there with that. So I think their lineup is going to be really good next year. Of course, we thought we had Zach Ryder slotted into that 84 slot. So, I mean, if someone really good comes available in the portal, I mean, Penn State's going to look if they think makes their team better. They've proven that they will. I don't see that necessarily. Like, I don't see where is that hole and where could a portal guy fill it? And it's a little different this year because the portal opens April 1st, whereas at this point last year, it was open. There were already guys in it. Casey Swiderski was in the portal at this point last year. So that changes things. So we had to wait a little bit. But the entire month of April, it'll be open, and I'm sure we'll see some movement there.
If you have to put your money somewhere, does next year's team break the record again?
Levi Haynes, I think, scored the most points of anyone for Penn State. He scored 26.5 points, so 6.5 bonus points. They lose
More than
that.
Mitchell?
Mitchell scored 25. Yes. So that will that's hard to replace for sure. And it comes down to those little things like Luke Littledahl scored 21 bonus points. Can he start? He only scored one, or he scored 1 bonus point. Is he going to start scoring more? Because that's what you're really looking at. They can't place a lot higher, right? They had 4 champs, 2 seconds, and a third and a fourth. So all their All-Americans are in the top 4. Excuse me. So I think it's going to contend because heavyweight loses a lot. Loses Younger, loses Trumbull, loses Gadali. Doucette. That's the top 4. Okay? So Cole automatically in the rankings is going to go up 4 spots. And I think we all felt like Cole was an All-American caliber guy. Just sometimes All-American caliber guys don't place. He beat All-Americans this year. So I would expect him, and he's going to get better, right? Where else did they? 41. They're going to be better at 41 next year. Whether Braden Davis just gets better or they have someone better than Braden Davis in that lineup, they're going to be better. So I think absolutely they're going to be in contention to break it again.
So I was looking at the amount of points that were scored by those three weights, by 41, heavyweight, and 74, and it was 31 points. Heavyweight and 41 scored a combined 4.5, and then 26.5 for Levi. So if you're thinking about by committee, like you get everybody else back. So by committee, can those three weights score more than 31 points? I think so. You know, you figure out somebody to, you know, get a top 3 finish and then a couple other mid All-Americans. I mean, that's very, very hard to do. Might require 10 AAs again, but I think they can do it. If I had to like just make a prediction right now, will they? Yes or no? I would say yeah. I think they'll do it again. I think they'll figure it out.
I think it's probably, I mean, I'm looking at it like a coin flip because there's no guarantee that everybody does as well. I think Mitchell, you can say, is going to have a similar season. How many bonus points is he going to get? But there are other weight classes where Luke at 25, Rocco at 84, Van Ness at 49. It's not guaranteed that they do as well. I mean, they could do better in 49 and 84, but it's still not going to be automatic. Everybody else at every weight scores exactly the same. However, I have a lot of faith that they're going to do very close if they don't. And then, I think they can make up a lot of difference in those.
Well, what I would say on like a Rocco Shane thing, their floor is so high.
Correct.
Like Rocco outside the top 3 are scoring, even, forget the placement, like he's probably going to score 18 to 22 points. Probably regardless of where he finishes, he's going to fall into that range pretty similarly. So it's hard. And for Shane, like, how many times have we seen this guy? He's been third, second. He's probably scored around 20 points every single one of those. So you're just not going to see a significant drop off, even if Shane doesn't make the finals next year. And he's going to be favored to probably make the finals or maybe even be the champion, despite what Aiden Valencia did. So I think this is a team that continues to only be challenged by itself and the previous teams that have come before it. And it's a program that is still as great as Oklahoma State wrestled. If you took Josh Bart and Mitchell Messenbrink off this team at the NCAA tournament, it would be tied, which is a really insane thing. Those are the two probably Hodge front runners, I would say.
Yeah.
You could take both of those guys off Penn State's team and it would be a tie score. Like that, it's just mind-numbing dominance and excellence, really.
The last Penn State topic I wanted to get into was kind of, I don't know if I want to say stole the show, but a large topic of discussion post-NCAA finals was Cael Sanderson's comments in the press conference saying, we do things the right way, we don't cheat, which you can't say that.
He said we follow the rules.
We follow the rules. And that's how they sleep when the wind blows. What did you make of these comments?
I mean, I think we have seen a more candid Cael Sanderson over the last year in a lot. I mean, his weekly media availability, you kind of get a lot there. I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way about it. It's just, what do I really want to say here? It did surprise me that he said that. And what is going on in the background that's fueling that is where I'm less sure, right? Is it the payments? It feels like Penn State's certainly paying. We're not hearing the numbers. Is it, guys getting poached? They really haven't had to deal a lot with that. I'm not sure what's really fueling that, but I know that, I've heard anecdotes on how fastidious they are about the rules and how the lengths they'll go to be in compliance, knowing that they're under a real spotlight there. And one thing I will say, Cael is someone who I think one thing that always seems to get under his skin or really bug him or irritate is if he feels like someone else has an edge or an advantage over them that he doesn't have. It was a big part of why he ended up leaving Iowa State was he felt like, man, I'm at a disadvantage here, and I'm going to have better advantages at Penn State. There was a time around COVID and when NIL first came in, I think I've talked about this. If not, here we go, where Penn State they were behind on NIL in terms of what the administration was allowing them to do. And it was a huge, huge issue with Kale and other Penn State coaches with how that AD was handling things. It was a huge, and everyone knew what was happening for the other schools, the other teams. It was definitely Wild West in terms of like what you could do with NIL and couldn't do. And they were at a disadvantage there, and it really, really bothered him. That AD's gone. Now they have one, and I think they're very happy with how administratively they're given permission to do whatever it is they're doing in NIL. But that was not the case before, and I know factually that was getting under his skin in a big way. So that's background to say that's something that really bothers him. So whatever it is, he feels like they're at some sort of a disadvantage in how they're operating versus how other teams are operating. So was that an accusation against the teams that are closest to him, including Oklahoma State? I mean, it's hard to hear that and not think that is what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Or
because
isn't
you
what he's talking about.
feel like, and a lot of people assumed it was because of the heat David Taylor and Oklahoma State are putting on Penn State, because you don't say that probably unless you feel like you're untouchable.
Yeah, I don't know why you say that. I don't know.
It was a little surprising to me because they just sent the point record, so it's not like there is any sour grapes. It's, if anybody, all the other teams are looking at Penn State going, how is it possible that they do all that? And I mean, they get good wrestlers and they coach them up. But when you're already at the very top, it's like you should, I don't know, it's weird to be thinking about other teams at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think in Kale's brain, well, we didn't get 10 individual champions. We can
100%.
There's
improve.
always more, yeah.
That's how he believes.
I think, JD, you're exactly right. I think they felt like, man, PJ Duke should have been a national champion.
Marcus
I feel like
Blaze.
They felt like just being, they're happy and grateful and everything, but just sort of just observing, it's like they feel pain at the end of the national tournament. Like they're happy and they're smiling a little bit, but then you can see like they're I don't want to get too specific, but like, man, they were hurting a little bit. And I saw that when Roman lost to Vito. I remember it was like they won big time. I don't know if that was the first record year or the year before that, but they ran away with it. And I remember them like, man, they're kind of down because they won it all. They're not like, okay, we won. It's not a football game. Right? It's not a football game where it's like, yeah, the center didn't play great, but we won by 10. And that really is kind of all that matters. No, all that matters is that your individuals do as good as they possibly can. And they look at that and say, 6 guys did not do as good as they possibly could, maybe. Or like, there's more out there to be had. And I think that mindset is like a big part of why they're so good. Is because like they're not
satisfied.
They're not content to break the record for the 3rd time. They're not feeling like, wow, we couldn't have done better. Like,
I think there's a big difference between when you first get over the hump and when you first do something, and now we're going on 13 titles in 15 years. Now they're focused. I mean, not that there wasn't their focus before, but not 10 individual titles. That's something that they haven't done yet, and that they want, and is frankly attainable on some level.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, you think you leave, you got the trophy, you're very happy, but you've had that picture taken before, you've had that record broken before, and there's still more to do.
And they've had 5 champs before.
They've had more champs than they have this year.
So yeah, I think it's just they are like most of these staffs. They're a uniquely wired people that like I think on the outside some of it doesn't always make as you can't relate to it as much, but. I think that's probably why they're so successful.
So let's transition now into Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Who took 2nd, who scored, was it the second most a second place team has scored in the modern scoring era outside of that Ohio State team?
In 2018, yeah.
In 2018, so.
That Ohio State team scored, I think 133, and Oklahoma State scored 131, and they had 2 team points taken away. So very, very comparable team. And that was, I've said that Ohio State team is one of the best teams I had watched. Now it's the dynamics are totally shifted now with what Penn State's doing. But at that time, I was like, this is one of the best teams I've ever watched, and they didn't win. They weren't as good as Penn State that year. Wait, I don't even know what I was talking about. What was the question?
No, I hadn't got
No
it.
question. No question.
Yeah, it's just like, so the gap is clearly closing
Yeah.
between Oklahoma State and Penn State. How long until we can realistically expect an actual team race for the NCAA team title?
I think we've always said that this coming year was the year it starts to become a conversation. Like, I never felt like this year it was, and it wasn't. They just had too much. Now, Penn State is not starting down. It's not like, oh, they're losing guys. It's Oklahoma State has shown that when they get the guys in, they produce, right? Getting those 4 freshmen in the finals, doing what they did last year. They left some out there too, like D not placing, Facundo not placing. Like there's room for improvement on that individual level, but just generally, when they get guys that are high caliber, they're producing and wrestling really, really well. And so now they're going to get more next year. You got Drayshawn Ross is coming in. They have done very well in the portal in the past, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them. They have a couple areas where they could be better, and I think if the right guys get in the portal, Oklahoma State's going to be in contention for them. They're adding the Rainies, right? They redshirted Cody Rutledge this year. They've got Michael White coming in. They're really excited about him. They have a lot of flexibility, but until they start, and I don't know, I irritated a couple Oklahoma State fans who, in turn irritated me, and I probably shouldn't have engaged, but
Mutual irritation.
Yeah, we irritated one another. It was symbiotic. But I tweeted how Penn State scored 40.5 bonus points, and, you can look on a placement level. It's like, okay, Penn State put 6 in the finals. Oklahoma State had 4. 3 champs versus 4 champs, 8 All-Americans apiece. Those plays, that's pretty close, right? But when you're getting doubled up in the bonus points, that's a big challenge. And the Oklahoma State fans were like, well, they had all the 1 seeds, so they scored more bonus because of that. I was like, I don't think that's why, guys. I think they just are guys that look for bonus points more consistently. And I think my final statement on that discussion is, you could think that, and maybe that is true on a small level, that does impact it. But I say more than anything, I am pretty certain that Coach Taylor and company are thinking about this and be like, we have to score more bonus points. We can't have a national champion that scores 0 bonus points. We can't have another national champion that scores only 2. But and here's the other thing I'll say about this. Those guys, they had 4 freshmen in the finals. Landon Robidoux will score more bonus points next year. Sergio Vega will score more bonus points next year, right? Merrill, those guys are going to be more dominant. When you put out a lineup that's that young, now freshmen can come in and dominate. We've seen Mitchell do it. We saw Barr was really dominant actually last year. Jax Forrest, very dominant. And that's going to continue. Obviously, he somehow will probably become more dominant. But that's really, they need to score more bonus points, and then it becomes, all right, can we just outplace? Can we out-wrestle? And that, I think, is it's going to become manageable. David is, what is going to serve David well is 2 years in a row, his roster decisions have been so good. Like who he wrestles, how he slides guys in. Remember the conversation 2 years ago was like, man, they could actually redshirt Wyatt and Dean and like sit all these guys. And then next year, which would have been this year, that's going to be a nail squat. And they just went for it last year. They went for it this year. They pulled Jackson. Like he's just a great evaluator. He has good instincts and he's not afraid to take risks. And so you feel certain that David's going to put the right team on the mat and he's going to have a lot of options for who those 10 people are. But it feels like it's getting closer. And, yeah, I think next year it's going to be a conversation from the start of the year to the end?
I think it's a conversation, but Penn State's not going anywhere. I mean, they might break the record next year. Brady thinks, and I think maybe too that they probably will. Yeah. So I don't know if we're talking NCAA tournament team race next year, but think about in 3 years when Ramadu's a senior, Vega's a senior, Merrill's a senior, those guys are seniors. I think that's when it's really going to heat up.
I don't think you see those jump. I mean, maybe I think next year those guys are going to be. I feel like their second year on, you kind of hit your general folk style peak. I think we saw that. Sure. So I don't think they are thinking it that way. I mean,
I know meant when they shift in like a Rainey who's at 49.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, to me, the interesting thing is Penn State on paper, you can kind of figure out, you have a good idea of what their lineup's going to look like. And we've seen all their guys, whether they were redshirting or whether they're returning or whatever. Oklahoma State is like, on paper, you could kind of, like before the season started, go, okay, well, they're going to be like this good and there's some unknowns. But you couldn't pencil in what they did at this tournament. It was all these freshmen. It was Jax Forrest was in high school, like you had assumed. Yeah. So Oklahoma State, you don't want to be too sure that, like, all right, well, this is what their lineup's going to be. They can't match up to Penn State yet. Well, who knows what's going to happen there? They have the ability, and David has shown that he can create these points and elevate guys to where they wouldn't have penciled in. They wouldn't have kind of prefigured into that situation.
I think that factor is what's going to make this an interesting team race. And in the discussion, whether the race itself is interesting, the discussion all year long will be, because David Taylor at Oklahoma State, what they're doing, it actually reminds me of what was happening at Penn State back in like 2011, where they can still surprise you. Like right now, Penn State, you just expect them to win and you expect them to dominate. It's not a surprise when they have a lot of success. It's a surprise when Jax Forrest comes out of high school, and wins an NCAA title. It's a surprise when Sergio Vega beats Jesse Mendez. Just like it's a surprise when, Quentin Wright from the 9 seed is winning, or when James English is getting on the podium, or those things that were happening early Penn State. And it's like, because David Taylor, said, hey, we got a guy that we think can beat Gable Stevenson, and then it happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we got a high schooler we think can win it, and it happened. It's like, all right, if we think we can win, maybe it can happen.
And it's stuff like that, and Penn State becoming a victim of their own success because the standard is so high from them. Like you said, then now you just expect basically all of their guys to win and be dominant. That Oklahoma State kind of stole the show a little bit, again, for the second year in a row, where Penn State's arguably having the greatest team of all time, and you got Bo Nickel tweeting about how it feels sad almost at the end in Oklahoma. But Oklahoma State fans are out of their minds, overwhelmed.
The programming helps too. The fact that they got to start with a win and end with a win. Like Penn State didn't have the opportunity to like start the show, end the show, anything like that. And they, of course, you have to win to make that the thing. And Sergio Vega did that, got it started, and then it felt kind of imminent at 33, right?
And David now has 2 next scales.
2 what?
Scales. 2 undefeated.
Yeah, it's not too early
freshman.
to start comparing, right?
Oh my gosh, no way.
By the way, we do have a super chat that I think is probably asking for a little bit of clarity about something when we were talking about Penn State. JMiz2323, $10 in the chat.
Hello.
How is Penn State going to retain all these guys with the new NIL structure in place? If the money isn't there, the wrestlers won't be there. That's not what you were saying. Like, there were the concerns about the NIL, those were years ago.
That was around COVID, 21, 22.
Yeah. So,
and there was a lot of teams that were like, okay, that's for other teams to do. Like schools, like Penn State wasn't, they were more in the minority, but schools were trying to figure out how they were going to internally deal with everything. And, the Ivies still don't do NIL, and other schools still don't. And Service Academies certainly don't. Where was Penn State and some other schools going to be? That's how that was shaken out.
And I think that the other thing to point out there, the narrative coming from Penn State that they're saying, you hear people on staff and everything say it is like, yeah, we don't pay everybody the most. We're not trying to get guys that just want to make the most money in NIL. We want the guys that want to be here and they want to be here for the right reasons. We will pay them NIL, but we're not going to be the highest bidder.
That's what's interesting about Oklahoma State too, and I don't think we're going to see this exodus of guys from Penn State to Oklahoma State like Zach Ryder. But you might see 1 or 2, similar to a Zach, where they went to Penn State because they believe that is the one place that can get them to the highest level of wrestling, an NCAA champion and a world and Olympic champion. But now there's kind of this other dog in the fight that can, with data, has proven, hey, we can do that too.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets interesting. A guy who isn't going there for NIL, but is going there because they want to be the best possible wrestler, might now have another option.
That's the biggest
Pull.
Yeah, and that's what's been true, and that's what David has said since the jump. Now people felt like there was only one place you could do it, and it was true. And he said now people really feel like this is another place. And the reality is it's a tough. If you're a top level recruit, and you're looking at both those programs, and you think I could probably do it at both. If there's one that has a little more lineup synergy for you, or like a spot, or they're coming a little harder after you, it does make sense to go there. Whereas in years past, it's like, well, I should still go to Penn State because it's the only place where I can be my best. And yeah, you're right, JD. These recruits look at it differently now, right? Landon Robidoux was committed to Minnesota, and was like, no, I want to be a part of this. Sergio Vega was going to Cornell, and he's like, no, this is where I can, be my best. And those look like really smart moves by those individuals. And that reinforces itself too, and creates momentum that's already present.
Well, the wild thing for me is David has now done it 2 years in a row with two different kinds of, see, this is why you can do it here at Oklahoma State. He took two guys last year that were transfers that were not national champions, and one had a giant roadblock in Gable Steveson in his path. And he got those guys within a year or whatever, a year and a half of coming to Stillwater, winning championships. And then he does it this year with the crop of freshmen where it's like, yes, once you start getting in our system, now you're leveling up more than anyone else. So it's undeniable that he's created an opportunity or a place where young wrestlers can think that they have the ability to be their best there.
And that's the weird thing. You think, okay, Oklahoma State, last year they did a really good job and they kept the momentum rolling. Well, not really. They had 9 new guys on their team this year. It's not like, the momentum from last year. Like the momentum was just like an internal team thing. It's not like, they got this guy and now they get him back next year. No, Dean's gone. Wyatt's gone. All 8 or 9 guys gone. They had completely overhauled their team and they still move forward. That's what's really crazy about it.
The hype kept going.
What's crazy to me is now David Taylor has 5 NCAA champs, and not one of them at the start of the year would you have said, yeah, that'll happen.
Right.
There's no way Wyatt is beating Gable. There's no way Hamity is winning that weight class with Levi Haynes in there, with Keegan O'Toole in there. There's just no way. There's no way Jax Force does the high school thing.
He's got chemistry class.
He's got chemistry to deal with.
He's got prom.
He's got to wrestle a Powerade.
There's no way. I mean, there's no way Robidoux wins that bracket after having taken a couple losses, and for Sergio to beat Mendez, it's like he's getting 5 guys to do this impossible thing. It's crazy.
And one thing he talks a lot about is belief, and it's a buzzword or whatever. It's like, but those guys really did. And the ability to deal with negativity, to deal with losses, and still believe, that's what Landon had to do. Maybe it's a little easier to believe when you're Sergio and no one's taking you down all year. You're Jax Force and you're allergic to not scoring. You just have to score. It's like a compulsion. But I think that's a big part of it. Just to get Jax to believe he could do it at this weight class that we talked about so much.
We're talking a lot about their NCAA champions too. An under the radar thing is getting Zach Ryder on the podium.
That was obvious.
That's fair. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. You did call that one, but
never a doubt.
But I mean, I don't know if
you're right.
I'm in my head. I'm comparing that to Carter going out with a knee and winning a national title.
Well, yeah.
That's a bit of an extreme jump, but you can see that kind of similarities where it's their guys just do believe they're going to do it, and they got something going on where they can do it, where you can even be banged up and still perform at your level that you should be based on your season at the NCAA tournament. That was good. You called down. Are you ready to admit though that pulling Jax out of high school was the right move?
It's too soon to tell. I'm not sure. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's the ultimate. David is a kind of a glass half full. But we'll win, so it's fine. Why do you think about the the negative aspect. It was a risk. We all, and I certainly acknowledge that one aspect of the risk is that he could do this. Like, that was never outside of the realm of possibility in my mind. I was just maybe more cautious than necessary. It was obviously the right move and brilliant, and yeah, a lot of respect for it too.
Another team we have to talk about that had a great tournament, Iowa.
Hey, before we get to Iowa, we got one super chat that's Oklahoma
Yeah.
State related.
Okay.
A little tangential, but it's a $9.99 from OSU Wrestling _Brad. And it's about the 7th place match with Swiderski and Cross Wasilewski. Little chippy. Did you guys get a chance to watch that match?
It's a Casey Swiderski
But it was
match.
kind of crosswise,
Yeah.
inciting things there.
Well,
There can be only one
builds.
ski.
It builds from both. Casey gave him a hard club when they went out of bounds.
Yeah.
One time, Crosswas might have taken an exception to a double leg from Casey. So
Double leg to the face.
Yeah. When you get two skis together, there's going to be some chippy
Downhill skiing.
Yeah, there can only be, you're supposed to have 2 skis. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
They work better together.
Sometimes you just go on one ski.
Yeah, that's Casey. He's in a lot of matches that are
and
like
that's
that.
and that's why he's a fan favorite. He's entertaining.
For sure. Oh, the one other thing I'd say about Jax, and I don't know if I've made this point on any like shows or whatever, but why you really respect the move by David, it's like no one would ever have second guessed David if he wrestled Ronnie Ramirez or Richard Figueroa this year. No one would think, what are you doing? Why'd you do this? Why would you? But you will get second guessed to death if you wrestle Jax Forrest and something happens. He gets hurt or he gets 4th or 5th, and it does. And it's like, man, he could have used extra time. And I think that's that's notable. Like, there's no downside to wrestling Ronnie or Richie. Like, no one's ever going to question that, but he didn't. I don't think he just doesn't look at it that way. And you have to appreciate that.
All right, let's talk Iowa. Getting 7 guys on the podium, I think was a feat a lot of people did not think they were going to do at the beginning of the season, halfway through the season, and even after Big
Halfway
Tens.
through the tournament.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I don't know if this is going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really strong conclusion to I would say this was the most tumultuous Iowa season I can recall. They've had some tough finishes and some, a bad duel, but they had a great duel against Oklahoma State. They lost to Minnesota this year. They almost lost to Michigan. They lost to Iowa State. Like, there was a lot of down times. Tom Brands on the record said, I'm having my worst year. So to leave with 7 All-Americans and a 4th place finish, a trophy, and you beat Ohio State, zoom out. That's really good. A surprising finish. And the reality is 9 was served up on a silver platter. I mean, Dean has Klinsky. You favor Dean. Dean's been better this year than Klinsky. Nasir, who did he have? Nasir had a super winnable one as well. Wyatt Henson, former Hawkeye. You probably favored going into that match. You would have favored Nasir. So I think it's a strong finish. I felt like the Hawks were scoring. Like, Drake Ayala was on his offense, scoring the whole time. Like, just attack mode. Went out awesome. Like, just a great conclusion to a really strong career and a tumultuous season, right? He was 4-5 at a point in the year, and he didn't lose the faith. Great finish by him. Caliendo, what are you going to do? Kennedy getting 3rd in a 74 bracket that I thought was really tough, and I did not have Kennedy. I think I had Kennedy like 5th maybe. I thought he'd be behind Ruiz and maybe Harchla. And yeah, that's a great finish to an awesome career and scoring. That was a multiple, like him and Harchla, like that was like a 3 takedown match. Like, those guys, they don't wrestle like that. Those two. I thought Keeter looked more offensive. So that's what and then you have like one of the great feel-good stories with Gabe Arnold, a guy who won matches at 174, at 184, and Dean's gone. You don't have another option, and you gotta steal a bit at Big Tens just to have a chance. And I'll give a lot of people credit. They were like, a lot of people thought Gabe could do this at the national tournament when they saw his draw, and I did not. I was not giving him a chance to do it. I was like, yeah, he will be in close matches, but he won't be able to score. And him finding a way to do it, I think, is really cool and a nice positive moment for the Hawks.
He's in the mayor race for Cleveland. I don't think there was one guy that like really stood out.
No.
But if you have to take some guy who didn't win it, but I feel like a lot of people were cheering for at the end, it was Gabe Arnold.
I just think people resonate with, the challenge, right? And everyone understands. Everyone can appreciate an undersized underdog.
A team
right?
player, too.
And a team player.
Who will go, this isn't the best for me, but okay, you want me to wrestle 174? You want me to wrestle 184? You want me to wrestle 197? I'll do it.
Yeah.
I think this season of Gabe Arnold has to be remembered and held up as the ultimate example of how wrestling can be a team sport and how you can have a wrestler be a team player when, it's hammered home a lot of times, or when people are analyzing the sport or talking about what makes it unique. It is an individual sport with this team aspect kind of like created around it. But Gabe is actually showing how it matters that you have a bench, how you have people in the room, how you have guys that are willing to step up and do whatever it takes, whether it's the best thing for them or it's going to make the most sense long term.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too, and this goes for both Gabe Arnold and the Hawkeyes as a whole, is that the NCAA tournament, we talk about it, we joke about it, all that matters is March, and it's everything's so focused on the end of the year, but it does give you an opportunity for this moment of redemption at the end of a season that didn't go the way that you wanted to. And ultimately, like you always do have this one tournament at the end where despite, if you're Gabe Arnold, you're the 27 seed, you can get on the podium. Like you can come back. If you're Iowa and you've had the worst year of Tom Brand's career by his own admission, you can get a trophy and you can bring it home, put it in the trophy case. It's pretty cool.
Remember we were watching Ayala in the Conci semis, and he beat Lucas Bird, and you could tell the emotion, how
so jacked,
how pumped, and it's like that's the match. Like whatever happened during the regular season, wipe out the records. Everybody's 0-0, but that's the guy that beat you in the finals. You already know you're not getting back to the finals, but this is your shot. You're never gonna wrestle him on a mat with your singlets on, and with the Iowa singlet again. This is one of your last matches of your college career, and you get that win. You could feel the
it was
emotion.
Important.
Yeah.
They wrestled with a lot of pride, I would say,
And here's why I didn't love them wearing the "It's okay, we hate you too"
And I want to talk about this so bad.
shirts, because I actually feel like, outside of Angelo, but Ferraris are different. They kind of get their own.
They don't count.
They don't count. They get their own category. But by and large, I felt like people were behind Iowa at the national tournament. Like, everybody loves Drake and wanted to see him do well. Gabe Arnold was the maybe feel-good story. And now that Penn State is the dominant force in the sport, it was like most people were kind of cheering for Iowa. They were booing Penn State, cheering for Iowa.
I think it's kind of it's a very so what he's talking about is like a bunch of the Iowa guys are wearing this is like a throwback to like the 80s or 90s Iowa where they were with it's okay.
Or the 2000s, too.
It's okay, we hate you too. But that's where that was birthed, that statement.
Yeah.
And to me, I think it's just from a pragmatic, forget what the shirt says, from a pragmatic standpoint, I don't think that's what the message you want to give about your program. I don't think kids want to be hated, okay? I don't think if you're joining the evil empire, you better be the first place team consistently. Because we're hated, we're the most hated team, everyone hates us, and we're in fourth last year, and I don't think you can put the shirt on. I don't think it's a good idea. It's a bad idea. I think it's self-conscious. I think it's dated, and I think it's a little, it's just not how, it's also just like to JD's point, I don't think it's really how they're even viewed necessarily. Like they're always going to be a spark plug and for discussion, and I think if all things being equal, if all these teams were equally good, they would be like probably the most hated program. But that's not the dynamics have shifted. And I think forget what it says. Pragmatically, dumb choice. You're leaning into the wrong thing. You guys have been trying so hard no one talks about being robots or not being robots more than Iowa wrestling. No one brings that up anymore, but they bring it up constantly. We're not robots. We have fun. We have fun. Well, then, okay, y'all, for one, stop bringing that up because no one else is talking about it. Two, stop wearing the shirt that says, it's okay, we hate you too. You're just leaning into the meme that you're trying to shed. Bad idea. I thought that was dumb. It's a little thing, but it's like they're wearing it. So I don't know. You're leaning in the wrong thing.
What did you think of the Ferraris not wrestling back?
I was not surprised. I mean, I talked about this in my 84 preview. I had kind of a hedge in my Angelo All-American prediction because I said if he loses, I don't think he's going to wrestle back. And I think people pushed back on that. And I said, I think there's a chance he doesn't. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm not remotely surprised Angelo didn't wrestle. You can have your opinion on if you think, I mean, the reality is it didn't matter. But it could have cost them a trophy. On Saturday morning, Angelo not wrestling could have cost Iowa a trophy. That's a fact. Ohio State didn't do what they needed to do on Saturday, but that decision was made before that happened, before Jesse Mendez lost to Vega, before Davino lost to Jax Forrest, and Kennedy beat Harshla. There's quite a few little swings in there that could have shifted it for Ohio State. But you have to assume that he was just very hurt and unable to go. Then again, if he wins and he's in the finals, is he wrestling? What do you think? AJ, that surprised me a little bit. But then again, not really. I don't know. He was limping some on Saturday night, although he was walking around the entire. I mean, everyone knows if you watch the NCAA finals, AJ was in line of sight with the camera. He was just always there. So he was moving, but I don't. The degree of injury, I'm sure is probably there were far from just the Ferraris forfeiting out on Saturday. I'll say that.
And I would say this, and why unless it's very obvious, like I'm not going to critique a guy for not wrestling back, is because a lot of people don't understand how grueling this tournament is in a full season of college wrestling. Like, I know these guys they're hurt.
And they're showing up banged up. I mean, this is the end of the season. They're no matter what, it's like this is all that matters. So if they can take the mat, they're gonna. This of all tournaments. So it's not. I wasn't surprised. I know. It feels like it happens every year. People go, "Why are there so many medical forfeits?" Maybe there were more this year than average. I mean, if somebody runs the numbers, I'll believe them. But it didn't strike me as like all that out of order.
I agree.
Now, Iowa's lineup next year, they do lose quite a few NCAA points.
Yeah, I wanted to get to this too. Like, for this, I know that the Brands brothers and the Iowa program, like their standard and expectations are national championship. Like that's what they're striving for. But I think on the outside, and why this is a positive finish for Iowa, Iowa did not have a national champion roster, and everyone knew it, right? They were never going to contend for the title this year. They were never going to be in that conversation, right? So you have to zoom out and be like, no, for the roster they got now, who's responsible for the roster? We all know that answer too. But for what they had, I thought they wrestled really well. And next year, I think is going to be tough. They are going to have to be so aggressive in the portal. They're going to have the right guys at the right weights to go into the portal in the first place for them to be able to, get back in. They added Dean Peterson, Nasir Bailey, Jordan Williams last year. None of those.
Soma and Dean.
And Mo and Dean. 0 All-American finishes among those guys. So on the portal side, it's two things. You are limited in high school recruiting. You are limited by nothing. You're only your own perception and self-esteem of if you go after a guy or not. Like, can we get this guy? In the portal, and I know everyone's maybe a little jaded about it, about why guys do and don't jump in the portal, and is there tampering beforehand? I mean, there can't be but so much if you look at the level of guys that are going into the portal. So my point being, you are at the mercy of who jumps into the portal, and then you have to make a choice of who you go after, and then they need to want to come to you. So my point being, it's going to be really hard for them next year, I think, unless the right guys at the right weights go into the portal they're counting on Leo DeLuca. Like his talent, am worried about his availability. He wrestled one match this year, missed a ton of time his last year in high school. The same reason I'm concerned about Ono next year for Penn State. I'm concerned about if you're not on the mat wrestling, something's wrong. Something's not going well. And it's not a good thing. So I think he's really good. You got to see him. At 33, I don't know what the plan would be there. Nasir had a good finish to his year, didn't get on the podium. Ryder Block, you're excited about 57. You didn't qualify that weight class. So regardless of who you use, Voinovich, or who might be a senior actually, Williams could be back. It's tough to be very excited about 57 next year.
Estrada time, potentially.
Yeah, and I think that's tough too. 65, you lose your kind of anchor there with Caliendo, definitely an unsung hero for the Hawks and what he was able to do for them. And I don't know where the help's coming at 65. 74, is it Gabe? Possibly. I think that's probably the plan. Angelo's going to stay at 84. 97, a lot of faith in Harvey Ludington on their side. I'm a little more bearish on Harvey in terms of being an All-American contender next year. I think eventually for sure, but there's not much looking at what he did, and this was a guy that was on the mat to his credit. It's going to be a big jump for him in what we saw to become an All-American next year.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, you got Keeter.
Yeah,
He's good.
listening to Tom Brands at the end of NCAAs, one of the things he said was that, just what you said, they will have to be aggressive in the portal, and that's the plan. Like they fully expect that the portal is going to be one of their paths forward. They're going to go for that. That'll be, I think, a major storyline all offseason. Who goes in, and can Iowa get them? And then it's like the last two portal crops they brought in have just not produced. Can they get the right guys? And I know Tom has emphasized that they need to do maybe a little even more homework on culture fit and things like that. But
you can't be as discerning or picky about culture fit when you have to have a 41-pounder.
And there's only...
Or 57-pounder or whatever. I'm not picking on those guys. I'm just saying, you can look into it all you want. Who else are you going to get? What other guys at those weight classes were available? That's why having a strategy that is portal-based is so very risky. And I think for a national champion team, the portal can be only a part. It can't be the backbone of your recruiting and roster management. I think when it becomes that, and when it becomes really, really tough. Like Caliendo, they hit on that one. Like that was like one of the better portal pickups ever. Like for a team. Buchanan, that worked for that year. That was great. But there's a downside to it. One
of my favorite things about the Caliendo transfer is Tom said this several times. He's like, he's not a transfer. Well, he is a transfer, but he's a Hawkeye. He's like
the other guys came here for different reasons, but he's a real Hawk.
Yeah. And so it's just
you can read between the lines what he means. There,
exactly.
Like this is a guy. He embodies everything we look for in an Iowa wrestler.
Yeah.
What I don't get about a lot of the conversation that you read, and that's my fault for reading too much stuff online, but you see a lot of criticism, not from everyone, but the Iowa transfers that come in especially, but really all transfers, everybody that gets picked up in the portal, is fans are concerned about how much money they're making.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand that. This is not a salary cap sport. NIL is pretty much uncapped. And you can criticize the wrestler saying you shouldn't be putting too much faith in guys for whatever reason, or saying that they're not as committed because they're coming here for the money. That's one thing. But when everybody starts like making it a dunk that, well, you're paying him this much and this is what you're getting out of him, the fans aren't paying it. Somebody else is paying it.
Okay, so broke boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's always, I mean, this is true in professional sports. I think there's just resentment to people making money.
Yes.
Well, it's also people view it as an unfair advantage.
Yeah,
You
it's,
wish your team had NIL money.
yeah.
to
Major
pay.
League Baseball isn't fair either. Some owners will pay all the money.
Yeah.
and then
And that's
the
why
Rockies.
you're resentful.
Yeah, but that's why I do understand it, because it's a major storyline in every sport. Like, if the Dodgers lose in baseball, people are going to say, "Ha ha, you have this high payroll and you can't win." And so it's the same thing. It'll happen. Oh wow, you paid all this NIL money and you still didn't win. Like, it's just, if you're a fan, you're fanatical and you're looking for anything that you can be excited about for your team, and any jab.
Anyway, to be petty.
Also-
Yeah, it's part of that's just sports fans.
And also, the so many of the numbers, there's no verifying this. Like, you hear them. I think there's occasionally some truth to it, but I think some of it is kind of nonsense. And also, like, I won't get into like it's not important, but like, all right, yeah, come here on our team. We'll pay you $100,000. That happens. This is a real thing. But you're not on any scholarships.
Yeah.
You're paying 40 or 50. So we're talking about 60 grand. This is for an All-American type of guy. Like, I'm not saying that's what happened at one school or not another, but like, I don't know. I think it's not as crazy as people think. And I think maybe it could be, for some, but.
One other interesting Iowa tidbit that Brand said, he said, we're going to look at personnel changes, but we do that every year. But
Every day.
every day. But it is notable that I think that
AM.
was
Such a
brought up
funny
again.
thing. Just have a staff meeting every day. Be like, JD, you're out.
Just every day.
I'm
You're back on.
thinking
You're
about
back
it.
on.
All right. You're back. You're back. I'm just sorry.
You've just been evaluated, though.
Yeah, we're evaluating. Oh, yeah, that'd be a funny thing if they just have a staff meeting every day where he's like, all right, I evaluated. You guys are coaching today.
Every day you get a grade.
And here's the plan.
You were a B+ yesterday. Let's get that to an A-.
But I get what he means. Of course,
Yeah.
we're having some fun with it. But yeah, I 100% expect changes. I've already heard, where it may be going, and we'll see. The one thing that we were asked a lot is like, does this finish help Tom Brands in his,
Hot seat.
hot seat? Does it cool it? I think it should. Absolutely. Now, I think next year is going to be a tougher pill to swallow, barring a real surprising turn of events. And that's when I think this year is nothing compared to the hot seat I think he's going to be feeling next year.
I do think that, the right type of personnel change, if they make one, could really excite a fan base. It's like, it's similar to what we saw at Oklahoma State with David Taylor. Obviously, it won't be on that scale if it's like we're talking about hiring, an assistant coach or somebody to help with the RTC or whatever. But it can get people excited. And one of the things that I think Iowa fans are going to be probably excited about in the offseason, I mean, both Caliendo and Patrick Kennedy said they're going to stick around, wrestle RTC. If they're actually competing and Iowa has a more robust, filled out RTC, that's fun too.
Yeah.
To watch more Hawkeyes more often.
And I'd say more than, final thing, and we can maybe put a bow on Iowa, but like from a coaching perspective, you can't say that Tom didn't do a really good job this year. Like, those guys wrestled well and aggressive at the end of the year. They had some tough moments that maybe you don't have to have, but when the dust settles, Tom and company did a good job with this team. Period.
Let's talk Hodge.
Oh, yeah.
You have a vote, Christian. Have you decided where you're going to go with this vote yet?
I haven't done the thing that I always do where I sit down and I look at everything, but I don't think this will be as tough a decision last year with Carter and Wyatt, where I thought that was on paper the most difficult Hodge decision that we had. I think Mitchell is my clear lean for this one. Josh Barr has a case, I think. What Jax did should be considered. I think his dominance was incredible. I think the lack of matches and the fact that despite having a lack of matches, he still has a lower bonus rate than Mitch. I think that matters as a differentiator. But I think Jax should be a candidate.
Jax only had 2 non-bonus point matches, the NCAA Finals and Seidel dual match.
Yeah,
Yep, and Mitchell just had the one with Hepner
with Hepner.
in the quarters.
Yes.
Very odd match, that one.
That was odd. A lot of riding. I thought he was going to pin him with a bar.
Well, that was one. Even like what 2 minutes in, maybe even close to the end of the first, where it was still 0-0, and you're like, oh wow, because after Blaze goes down, it was almost like, dang, okay, Mitchell might actually go 100% bonus rate, and I was like, if he does that, Hodge next topic. If you get 100% bonus rate, boom. Then he doesn't. I'm like, oh, okay, now Barr's got a shot because Barr still had 100% bonus rate. So then it was like, well, if Barr can put up a major on Merrill in the finals, I think he should get it.
Yeah.
If you go 100% bonus rate. But then Merrill keeps it to a decision. And again, kind of like you, I haven't crunched numbers. All right, how many takedowns did you give up? I will say, I don't think Sergio should get it because he didn't give up a takedown all year, because he did not separate himself from the competition. He did not dominate like Mitchell did. And at the end of the day, the Hodge goes to the most dominant wrestler in NCAA wrestling. There are other criteria, and there should be, strength of schedule, number of matches, stuff like that. Mitchell Messerink was the most dominant wrestler in the NCAA this year.
And at the ultimate time when you display your dominance, the NCAA finals, to have that's the final test, the final exam, whatever, to come out and have your best performance against a guy. And this is one thing, I think I tweeted it, I don't know if I said it or whatever, but Mitchell beating Caliendo 9 times, I think is an absolute bolstering of his Hodge candidacy. Someone that's that good. It's supposed to get tighter as it goes. The fact that he found a way to widen it this year, worse than the year before that, is so impressive to me. He bonused him 3 times this year. That wasn't the case last year, where he had a decision in Big Ten finals and the NCAA finals. I think he just embodies what the award is for, truly pursuing scoring at all times. Sergio Vega's day is going to come, and I think same true for Jax and Trumbull. I mean, he had a great show too. I mean, 19-0. Missed some time, and I think that'll ding him a little bit. But he has a great. How many do we have? 7 undefeated guys.
7 undefeated.
That's a wild thing.
Yeah, and I'm excited. This is my first year to get to vote for the Hodge.
Let's go.
And then I saw this going into the finals. We had 11 guys undefeated still going into the finals, and it's
only 2 of those O's had to go.
That's right. And but what a group. I mean, this is this level of dominance is pretty rare.
Yeah, not that long ago, but maybe, I don't know, you go back 10 years or something, talking about the Hodge, and you go all right, well, everybody's got 1 loss, or you're parsing a totally different kind of resume for these guys. Now we're talking well, he didn't give up a takedown all year, and he's got this story of killing everybody after coming out of high school, but Mitchell and Barr, they were this close to almost bonusing everybody. I mean, these are not normal things to be considering when thinking of a Hodge vote.
The 1% of the 1%, I don't have data to back this up, it's just how it feels. There's more separation, I feel like, or the 1% of the 1% in Division I wrestling is getting better than it was 15 years ago. And I think there's also becoming separation between even guys that make the podium and guys who are just NCAA qualifier type. I think that level is raising, but like I said, I don't have data to back that up. It's just kind of vibes where it's but I don't know.
Definitely are guys at a different level, and they're doing both. I remember when Snyder was Mr. Everything and was winning,
going to Uregan and then coming back.
Yeah, world, and it was all right, well, he's gonna have a super limited schedule, or it's almost just hey,
11-0.
You've solved college wrestling. Time to focus on international or whatever. Maybe don't even do that. I remember after Zane's junior year, it was okay, he's done. Let's focus on international. Penn State can find someone else. That was more facetious. But now guys are doing full schedules of both.
Yeah.
I mean, they're wrestling in the Open. A bunch of guys are going to be in the Open. They were talking about it afterwards. Aiden Sinclair was hell yeah, and now I get to go to the U.S. Open as rules.
That was
Aiden's got RAF this weekend.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
Yeah, David was we're coming back, or we're getting ready for the U.S. Open. And the same's true for Penn State. That's one area where, Penn State's schedule gets called into question because they don't go to national duels and they don't duel Oklahoma State. And yeah, I would be more excited than anyone if those things were true. But when you consider their roster is on the streets all spring, summer, fall, sometimes at the World Championships, it's not like these guys aren't out there wrestling the world's best at a really consistent level. Yeah. And also, when you're breaking the record, like, why would you make any adjustments to that?
They're putting miles on the tread.
Yeah.
Talking Hodge and Mitchell reminds me we should discuss the whole handshake, no handshake thing from Mitchell
You have to.
and Caliendo. What were your thoughts on that?
Man, I understand what Mitchell's doing there, and I think he's trying to be magnanimous. I think, he shook his hand. I shook your hand before the match. I shook your hand after the match.
Yeah, that's what matters.
How many times do I have to shake your, and I get that Mitchell didn't do anything necessarily wrong there either. Certainly Caliendo, I don't blame him. Like, dude, man, I get it. You're not doing it. Like, you just ended my dream. I will never be a national champion now. And it's because of you. And you didn't do anything wrong in that. But, like, I'm not ready to, some people can just brush it off. And I think that's great. And I think there's nothing wrong with if you're extremely hurt by not winning. Like, that is okay, too. That is a very normal response. I hear this rhetoric. Like, oh, it doesn't matter if I win or lose. Nothing changes. It's like, that's not true. You can say it. I know you don't feel that way.
How can you get to that point?
You don't feel that, and you don't feel that way. Like, you're right. It doesn't define who you are as a person, and it does. Yeah, no one disagrees with that, and I'm not saying it's not a healthy perspective, but this is not a weekends of work. This is not a seasons of work. This is a literal lifetime pursuit for all of these guys. And if you don't get the one thing you've been trying to get, I don't think in 30 minutes you're going to be ready. What's up, man? Like, I bet Brock Hardy is. Like, Brock Hardy's like kind of a one-of-one sort of person, just like an awesome dude at all times, but like just can like handle it. But not everyone's going to be like that, and it's okay. Like, I'll be honest, I don't think I'd be like that if it were me. Like, and I think Michael just was being a normal person.
No one is entitled to a handshake in any situation, like in life. I mean, you wrestled, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
Is the handshake before and after. Those are the rules. You don't have to shake the ref's hand in folk style. You don't have to shake the table workers or the other coaches' hands. You just don't have to, and you're allowed to shake whoever's hand you want, and you can deny a handshake whenever you want. The whole thing was just like people were trying to create something, and it's like, who cares? I couldn't care less.
And it was a little like, for Mitchell, like, I don't think he was intending to be big brother-ish, but it was kind of like, good game.
Yeah.
Like, I just did the game.
It's also easy to be that guy when you're the one that wins too.
Right.
Like, it's
A tech ball in the NCAA finals.
it'd be if like Caliendo wanted to initiate that, like, hey, that's cool, but
Right.
no one did anything wrong here. Don't misunderstand me, but like, I don't think you got to shake everyone's hand at all times.
Right. And he wasn't like, he didn't give him double birds. He wasn't disrespectful.
Yeah, he just like,
Yeah, that would have actually been funny. That would have been.
if he hit him with a whoop.
That and then the bird.
Oh man, honestly, Caliendo, if he did on the hair swoosh, that'd have been legendary.
Yeah, cool, man. Yep.
Wow.
All right.
Peter went out, Bray.
Last, any finals notes we didn't get to Saturday night that we want to touch on before we get to questions?
You asked me after the finals, was I okay with the stall calls at 74 and 25? And I said yes. And I went back and rewatched it. Yes. Those were the right calls. It was the Levi Minto match was officiated, I would say, like, perfectly. Minto was not engaging. He was not trying to score. Levi, I saw this that people were saying Levi was taking half shots. That is not the case. He was in attack mode trying to score. And the one was a clear, like, back out of bounds stall, and the other one was a total inactivity stall. That was earned. And then Minto only really ratcheted it up 40 seconds on. You don't get two calls in for 40 seconds of work. So you got a call, you got a warning. That was an earned warning. Levi was stalling and should have been warned once. And it was perfect. It's not how you want the matches to be decided. But at a point, like, there's a reason this rule exists. And he was stalling enough to give up that point. I'll also say this. It happened like halfway through the second period. So you've got 2 minutes and change to go get a score. And he didn't turn it up to the last 40. That match was called correctly. McGowan should have been hit for stalling twice. Luke should have been hit once. I think he wasn't at the end. He was stalling and should have been warned at the end for a warning. No points. And you don't like 2-1 stall point winners, but you should not let a guy be in the match that's really just trying to slow down, grabbing fingers. I mean, the number of times I saw that finger initiation in 25, that's only done to not score, in my opinion. So hand on the mat, knee on the mat, that's stalling. So those were called well. Unfortunate. I thought I saw like people were saying like Mendez was a little passive. I didn't see that at all. I thought he went after it and tried to score. I think he was appropriately respectful and aware that Sergio was unique and special. And I think he felt that in the first exchange. And I still felt like he was pressuring and trying to score. I think Sergio is a guy with the answers to the problems.
He is so good at that sit the corner position. And Jesse went in there, shot his first shot. Sergio sat. I can't remember if he went chest or if he went crotch lock that first time.
I think it was crotch on the first one.
Crotch on the first one.
Because I remember vividly thinking like, dude, Jesse Mendez trains with Jay Jaggers. Like this was like his position, how he hit all those cradles. Like he knows how to not get cradled here.
And he didn't, but as soon as Sergio did, I was like, oh, this is trouble. This is trouble for Jesse. But he navigated the first one, didn't get a takedown, obviously, but avoided giving up the cradle or anything. But then every time he went back in there, I was like, dude, I think Sergio's going to win this one just because Jesse couldn't avoid that position.
No.
And that's Sergio's position.
100%.
Yeah. It looked less of hesitancy or not wrestling aggressiveness because Jesse took all the shots. It was like now he was trying to adjust for something mid-match, and it's hard to do. I mean, he's trying to win a national finals. His third, there's a ton of pressure. And you got this guy that's providing a unique counter to what you're used to wrestling against.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we were on the watch party talking about it, and we're just like, oh, he's game planned well enough to know, like, he doesn't want to be on one leg against this guy. Like, he wants both legs, and it's hard to do.
It's hard to double leg. Everyone's like, well, double leg Sergio. Big guys like that, tall guys that can get their feet down or send you to one side. Like
that's what happened. Sergio sent him to the side. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Sergio won the chess match.
And like Sergio, another area, the reason this is a nightmare matchup, like Mendez, typically a single leg guy or runarounds, and guys like that are so hard to give up go behinds to. And that was one of Jesse's one of his main scoring things. I don't know if last year, I think I actually said this right after the show, that it's something that like watching Wyatt beat Gable like reframed how I view like wrestling matches. Like I really don't feel like much actually surprised me this year. Like I didn't feel like Vega beating Mendez. I was talking about that in the lead up. Like I do think this is a very real match and a winnable one for Sergio against maybe the best guy in college wrestling right now. So I mean, Aiden Valencia was someone I thought could win a national title, and put it together. And I did think he was a tough matchup for Shane, just because Shane's leg defense is not great. Shane's got to keep you off his legs, and Aiden's a guy that can get in consistently. He's a really good athlete. I thought I'll kind of just like wrap it through the finals. Match of the night, 149. Both guys just sent it, and I think Aiden, that was his mindset, just send it.
And I actually thought that was gonna end up hurting him because they were getting into those like one guy shoots down block, reattack, shoots, that guy down blocks, reshot, and that's Shane's game.
Yes,
that's how he beat Casey in that final exchange. That's why when Casey started reattacking like 2 or 3 times, I was like, dude, let this dust settle. You don't want to be in that fire. With Shane, and so I thought they were going to keep doing that, and Shane would get one and win. And
he could have, That was the risk Aiden had to run to win that match, I think. It required knowing that was a possibility and still winning.
It helps when you're a freak athlete. Like, Aiden. Insanely quick twitch muscle.
Really twitchy and powerful. He's gonna be a factor at 65 again, guys. Which that'll be. I can't wait. I'm thinking it's about freestyle so much. It's gonna be. If you liked NCAA wrestling, buckle up because almost all these guys are gonna be trying to make world teams at some level. 57. Rabadou was the better guy start to finish in this match. He was looking to score. I mean, that first exchange was crazy. How he got the near fall was pretty unique. What unexpected, but he was the better guy. The stall point, I get why, maybe not necessary, but didn't matter.
Kind of like how we were talking about with Caliendo and Mitchell too. I don't know if the broadcast showed it, but after the match, Rabadou did the "This is my house" because Antrell hit him with the "This is my house" when he beat him in Nebraska, and then Antrell kind of took exception to it, threw his ankle bands at Rabadou.
Not good.
It's not great, but at the same time, I was like,
Can't do much damage with those ankle bands.
I thought it was both kind of. I thought it was fair for Rabadou to do that. Antrell,
No. Rabadou could do that. You can't throw your ankle bands at people because you lose.
oh come on, they're ankle bands.
No. That's not a good look.
If you ever want
I didn't say it was a good look, but
Bad look. Rabadou doing it, that's like inbounds. What Antrell did, you don't throw ankle bands at people.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't, but I'm saying it's not like team point. It's not unsportsmanlike conduct.
I think it is. I think 100%.
You think that's team point worthy?
Ankle bands?
Yes, you throwing ankle bands at guys, yes, of course.
That's not hurting them.
If they toss a headgear, they lose a
And that's bad too.
The headgear thing is a whole other thing. But if you take your headgear and you whip it at somebody, you're going to do damage. You can't do damage with ankle bands.
Damage doesn't matter. If I can say something audacious to you and lose a team point, it doesn't do any damage.
Yeah, but ankle
Maybe
bands,
to your psyche.
you could do serious psychic damage.
You don't have... Doing physical harm is not the barrier in which you lose a team point, guys. That's not what you have to
There's
clear.
more to it, but a little ankle band.
No.
I'm giving the
You
ankle
can't
band an exception.
So anytime
Band exception.
anytime someone loses, you can throw ankle bands at them, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Every time.
Just the ankle
Every
bands.
match,
As
the
long
ankle
as it's
band
just
loser
the ankle
can
bands.
throw it out.
Didn't say it's cool. I just said
No,
It's not cool. It's not cool, but it's allowed.
No, you don't really mean this.
It's
just
not,
like if a guy
You just don't want
you don't want
Antrell in trouble. That's why you're saying that. You know and you're not going to admit it, but you know factually that is not something that can happen at the end of every match.
I would rather somebody throw ankle bands at someone than take out a gun and shoot someone.
Well, yeah, you don't.
That should be a team point too. You can't fake shoot people. And this is the Jet Strickenberg.
Face.
This is the Jet Strickenberger fan show. We love Jet. You can't be shooting people.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
Was something we talked about on the watch party. I don't know if did Bracky tell you about the TSA situation with Jet?
Yeah, he has no forms of identification.
No.
Oh, another thing happened?
So I after Big 12s, I think it was, maybe it was somewhere else. A TSA worker recognized Jet and was like, "Hey, do the gun thing." And that's the only time TSA will tell you can do it.
Oh,
He's just NCAA Wrestling's John Morant.
Jet. No, he's not. Jet one time went to he didn't have any ID to get home, and he just brought mail. He's like, I have mail. He's like, I think he looked up that if you have mail, you can go, and they let him through with mail.
I know someone that did that, had all of his ID taken from him, or was on a vacation and had to use a prescription bottle of something for
It's actually super chill now. I forgot my ID not that long ago. And as long as you have a passport, you literally just have to sign a paper and then they let you through.
Oh, really? You don't have to have your passport.
No, they just look you up in a system and they're like, oh, James Rader, sign here, you're good.
Cool.
It took me 2 minutes.
All right. Let's all just leave our IDs at home.
Yeah.
74 or 65.
65, masterpiece from Mitchell. What else can be said? What a way to go out. I mean, when he got the takedown in the first 20 seconds, I was thinking, oh, he's going to tech him. Just when the ball gets rolling in the first period, it's pretty tough to stop it. Talked about 74, right guy won. Unfortunate how it went. McAnally, I think I said it at the beginning, you got to score early. The longer it goes, and Rocco is only going to get harder to score on, I feel, later in the match. And just a great job of kind of hiding his ankles. His low single's so nice, and gets to the high crotch, and then as soon as Rocco was looking, he windshield wipe is just you drill it, but it's hard to do against these guys anymore. And you knew from that point it was going to be hard for Rocco to run him down and go get it. And I think that's for Rocco. Like it's pretty clear. Like what his point of emphasis. Like he's got to be able to get to legs and finish against that next echelon of guy, or it's going to be tough for him. That's how he's going to become a national champion. He's got to get leg attack takedowns, I feel.
I'm glad Kemmerer was able to get up after the celebration. He could have blown a knee out.
That was so funny when McAnally ran him over. I mean, Kimmerer's been injured enough, Max. I mean, this guy had, the shoulder and everything, but that was a cool moment. I definitely laughed when he got freight trained by a large Max McAnally.
Seems like Kemmerer's a very good coach.
I can imagine.
Not that that's a surprise, or whatever, but you think McAnally getting on Sparks, having a great tournament.
Great tournament.
As well.
Yeah,
that's probably not a coincidence. That,
never made the podium, and then you do it your senior year.
And he's one where, when I first saw Andrew, I was like, this guy is really good. I see him. He's going to be on the podium guy. And then I'll admit it, going into this year, I was like, it's not going to, it's like.
We know his level.
You just feel like, all right, that's just kind of who he is. He's like a 10 to 16 kind of guy.
Out at a redhead.
Yeah,
that was my first mistake.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
97 Bart, I think he made I think pragmatically he wrestled that how you wrestle Cody Merrill. How is Cody Merrill going to score on you?
Reattack.
You got your score? All right, come get it. Kung Fu Panda. Like that was always going to be a hard way for Cody to win. When Cody coming from behind is going to be hard.
Yes, and you mentioned it on our show we did right after the finals too, but it felt like Bar had that game plan, stuck to it, but also when you haven't won yet,
exactly,
and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna go crazy here. I just want to win so bad. I just need to win this.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Like, all right, I can, maybe get a major. Like, I think he could have potentially bonus him, but I think he pragmatically, let's win the match.
And he didn't want to make it too hard on the Hodge voters by having a 100% bonus rate.
True.
That's right.
So he's always thinking of you guys.
Heavyweight, Trumbull, I think definitely was open to this possibility for sure. Thought it could happen. I thought the reasons Trumbull would beat Younger Bastida, I think we saw him, right? The mat, he's really good on top. He's very, very hard to score on. His hips are crazy. That score he got was really unbelievable. And more than anything, those exchanges took it out of Younger.
Big time.
And that's why, we saw the dressers went neutral. Younger chose bottom anyways. I think I think both options made sense. Going under, it was always a possibility he would get ridden out. But I think what's more likely to happen, I think Younger's feeling how he's feeling. He's the only one. I think he knows I'm not taking this guy down twice. He had felt in the exchanges like, all right, this is going to be really hard. This guy's he's not like anyone I've wrestled this year. And there's more likely that I will get an escape takedown and ride out than I can take this guy down twice. And so if that's how you feel, it's the right decision. I don't think Dresser was wrong to say go neutral because of what we saw, but I understood why he did it.
Yep.
We haven't talked much about Jax, and we talked about Luke. I thought that was a really mature, I think that was the word David used when I asked him about it, like how he won that match it wasn't like his semi against Seidel, which was crazy. And
a Jax match.
It was a Jax match, and it wasn't a back and forth, make mistakes Jax match, but I think Jax realized I'm not going to be able to force the issue in the same way without paying maybe a price against Ben.
Davino did do a good job of keeping that tricep back, which is what Jax uses to grab a hold of to do his slide by, or then he uses that to set up his other shots.
He did that first period was an amazing job. I thought it
was a great match from both guys.
Yes.
Jax was the better guy.
Yep. Did Ben need to take that shot? It was a pretty basic down block reattack for Jax, but you haven't seen Ben put himself at risk at reattacks once. His shot discernment, which is a really important thing at this level with the reattacks is good there, knowing when to pull the triggers, it was pretty good. So you're not feeling what he's feeling or seeing what he's seeing necessarily, but it felt like it was there. But at some point, you have to get a takedown. You don't want to probably go, even though Ben DeVino is so good on the mat, like you don't want it to come down to that. So I thought he had a really good game plan, and Jax is just the best guy in the country, maybe the world.
We'll find that out in the summer. All right, Bray. Before we get to questions, Spay, you want to tell?
Yeah, we could talk
about our
friends at
friends?
Nike that we mentioned at the top of the show. But look at what CP's got there. The nice embroidery.
I don't think you can buy this.
Yeah,
You can buy it from me, but I won't sell it.
Seeing exclusive inside ties.
Look, I'll turn around.
yeah.
I don't know what you can
Do a little model. Inside ties, Cleveland, Ohio, FloWrestling Radio Live. But they put on an awesome, we were watching it here at the watch party. They cut to it, Nike Wrestling, athleteps.com, which is where you should go right after this show. Go get yourself some Nike shoes, some Nike merch, Nike Wrestling. They're supporting wrestling. They had a fun, it was at the Guardians ballpark where you guys were?
Right across the street, Terrace Hall.
Very cool looking venue. They went all out. They made a really cool event. You had Stipe talking to you guys.
Dude, it was like just everyone was there. John Smith was there, Aaron Brooks, Chad Richardson was there from Paycom. I was like, whoa, there's probably some other legends.
Yeah.
Shane Sparks.
Sparks, the real heavy hitters were there, all thanks to Nike Wrestling, and it was fun to watch from the outside. It sounded awesome to be in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I also saw a lot of guys in the finals wearing Nike shoes. Was that a coincidence? Did the shoes get them to the finals? I'm not here to say.
No.
I'm just here to say that where you can get those shoes, athleteps.com. Nike Wrestling, great people. Support them as they support wrestling.
Get those super chats in if you want your question to the top of the stack. Otherwise,
Yeah, but we got a real problem.
Oh no,
Bro.
This has never happened before, but the like whole YouTube studio thing just like shut down, reset, and now I can't find our super chats. So I'm
Oh no.
doing a little investigation, trying to get to the bottom of that.
This is the first time in super chat history.
We had like 4 super chats that I couldn't find. Oh, guess what?
They're back, baby.
This investigating is paying off.
Okay, good.
All right. So
Ray.
we got one here. This is a $10 super chat. This is from Jason Barnard, 6632. Hey, Flo, what would you guys think about adding a shot clock in the NCAA tournament? There were multiple times where I feel like this would make a difference. Shot clock.
No, I don't think it's necessary. You have to. Oh, this the most important thing Cale Sanderson said in his entire year was that we do need a step out. He said that in his post-match press conference. He's like, I was opposed to it, and I'm for it now. It's like, it's time. You can't have guys running out of bounds for safety. It can't be. And listen, guys, the out of bounds only helps the defensive wrestler. It only helps the guy attacking. It's so rare it helps offense. So then at its own, or on its own, you just know it's bad. That's a bad thing. You have to change that. Cale was spitting, as the kids say.
They tried to fix that with the you have to call action or stalling. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, they won't do that.
It won't work. It's not a solution. A step out penalty is. If you go out of bounds, you put something in neutral, out of bounds, then that's a very clear black and white line that you can judge and that refs should have no problem with it. You don't have to worry about, was he trying to get back in bounds? Was there trying to be action? No, they stepped out. Boom, done.
Scoring will increase a ton if that happens.
And it'll force the action to happen inbounds. It will force them to say, oh, I can't play the edge. I got to get it done here. You just watch enough freestyle. It's very obvious.
And Penn State will be even better.
Oh, yeah.
If that's, yeah.
What about when wrestlers are in top and bottom? No step out?
No.
Just
like how they're trying to fix what
Grounding,
they did.
Grounding,
grounding.
yeah.
So yeah, for top bottom, if the wrestlers are in neutral position, then
And it's on.
maybe then it's on.
Yeah, then the step out penalty is on. And we're going to get it on.
All right. $20 super chat.
Yo.
Holy man, we're talking.
Space gonna get another quadplex.
Yeah,
It's $20.
it's gonna happen.
It's not going to be very nice.
Look, brick by brick. Hey, get that in an index fund, SP 500.
That's a more sensible investment.
There you go.
$20.
Vincent Padilla, 78.95. There seems to be more and more of a conscious strategy by some wrestlers to hold position and keep the match close in hopes of going to OT tiebreakers. I never thought I would say this, but time for a step-out rule. We just addressed it.
Oh wow, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And here's the reality, guys. In almost every match, there's someone that's probably clearly better. And oftentimes, the strategy for the guy that's the underdog is you got to just do what you can to keep it close. And what behaviors do that? Is it trying to score a lot? Usually not.
Right.
It's you got to slow it down and hope that it comes down to something like a tiebreakers or a one exchange or that guy making a mistake. That is the natural. That's just the human behavior that plays out in a wrestling match, and that's
Yeah.
I'm glad people are seeing it.
Next question.
Here we go. All right, I'm gonna start getting to some poor boy Twitter
Okay.
questions while we try to do a little more
Shout out, Broke Boys.
investigation. And we got one here from Taylor Skians. Does the Jax Forest model become a model for top-ranked seniors in high school? Do you think guys like Melvin Miller could follow the same path?
From a wrestling perspective, Melvin obviously is D1 ready this next year. Excuse me. I think we're going to see it more, but I think it's still going to be pretty rare. But I think there's no issue with it.
I think it'll still be like the exception where you've got a guy who makes a senior world team or is in that caliber that,
I would say within 5 years we'll see it again.
yeah.
Maybe
Right.
more.
Like, it's hard to imagine it becoming like a trend or in any way routine just because it's not a normal progression for kids.
Well, it's not going to become a thing where, like, now it's a thing where true freshmen go and win national titles. That is a thing that we will see pretty much every year from now on out. It's not going to become that popular.
Yeah. Like the example in that question was, like, for example, a Melvin Miller. It's like there's literally next year there's only one guy and it's Melvin Miller. He's the only one that could do it. So.
Yeah.
All right, CJ Kemp, what were the best and worst walkout songs for the finalists? I'm particularly interested in this question because
we had no
didn't
sound.
get to hear them. So we
I
didn't
would
know.
say honestly, I think last year it was louder. The music you couldn't really hear the music as loud.
I felt like it was shorter.
And shorter.
because then they play the
made it-
one song once they actually both get on.
Yeah, then it was less and less. So obviously, Funky Town hit like crazy. It was good. Trumbull came out to this. I mean, I don't even know.
Staying Alive,
Staying Alive-
50 Cent remix.
Yeah, with Into Club, which the melding two of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
That
mashup.
was actually really cool. But I don't remember any bad ones.
Younger at his salsa.
I wonder if Trumbull had Rob Kate do that for him.
It sounded like a Rob Kate original, but I think I looked it up on YouTube afterwards, and it's real.
Levi came out to Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys, but then said that wasn't a troll on Oklahoma State.
What are we talking about here?
Even though he comes out to Dinosaur every time he comes out, and then he just switched it up for the NCAA finals to that.
There are no coincidences. I couldn't believe he didn't just admit, of course, that's why.
Well, that was the actual troll, not the song. It was telling people that it wasn't a troll. It was him trolling.
No, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
So we all just got.
He's like, I really hope nobody came to that conclusion. He did, by the way, in his answer to that question in the press conference, he did, give David Taylor a lot of compliments and said he wishes him well and everything. But yeah, that was just an odd.
And we've seen that in the past. Like that's what Gilman came out to when he wrestled Dayton Fix at Final X. Like this,
Yeah.
it's very obvious.
A funny troll would have him being like, actually, I don't like Wyoming. That's what that's about.
Yeah, it's like Mark Branch. He's my enemy.
Wyoming, multiple guys on the podium, great tournament.
They finished 12th at the national tournament.
Unbelievable.
Yes, shout out Branch and Du Bois.
When we were looking up Wyoming results on the watch party, I thought there was a year where they had 3 All-Americans under Branch. They hadn't. This is the first time. They've
Never
had 2 a
happened
few
before.
times, but
Yeah.
impressive stuff.
Yeah, and considering Jory Volk was on the podium for Minnesota,
He got 3.5 All-Americans.
3.5. Yeah, well, we'll get into more. I know there's a lot of like periphery NCAA stuff that we're not getting into. Like we haven't talked about like the tournament Stanford had. Like we'll get into all that. Don't worry. We gotta
Back Thursday.
back Thursday normal time. Next question.
This is one that we've already touched on. Skylar Moore, thoughts on PSU and OSU lineups next year, given the overlap in talented wrestlers at various weights. I want to add a little bit of an addendum to this question, and specifically Penn State 174. Seems like they got a few options. Asher Cunningham's listed as 74-84, Will Hinkle, and then they got a guy coming in by the name of Jaden James. You think any chance that guy goes 174?
I would say that's a possibility. I think we could see that. I think it's just going to be really, really hard to not let PJ wrestle next year. I think it's just hard to be a wrestling coach, and he's done this in the past. He's been able to, but I think you probably just want to let him run, right? and that's what would keep him out. If they do redshirt PJ, which that has worked out, and they redshirted Zane Rutherford, and he came back the most dominant wrestler in NCAA for 3 straight years. So
He also wasn't Zane like PJ was this year.
Right. So I don't. Yeah, they could use one of those guys. Oklahoma State is one where I'm like, I have no idea what they're gonna do. Like, do they bump Jax and Sergio and insert Jaden Rainey at 33? Maybe. And then what does that mean for Swiderski? I don't know. Does D ever bump? Does Landon ever bump? I don't think so. I don't think we see Landon move up. Not next year, at least. I think he's like just right size for 57. 25, Spratley's back, and that feels certain. But 33, 41, 49, I think could go a lot of great directions. I think we've talked about it. Sergio Vega's weight cut was absurd all year long. He managed it like obviously a monster. But the idea of him doing that again next year, man, that's only going to get harder. But yeah, there's just those two teams are going to have a lot of overlap in their lineups with good guys.
A related question here from Yanni from Roanoke. Any chance Kasak challenges Van Ness for the 149 spot if Duke stays at 157? Could you see it?
No, because I interviewed Tyler Kasak at Big Tens, and he is so big.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically he could do it, but why?
So what does he do? Go 174?
Honestly, I thought about that.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude.
We'll see. I mean, I just thought he looked.
Been eating that beef.
Yeah, he's got that.
Got those cattle farm.
Got the direct line. Go ahead.
All right. Landon Robidoux Lover, what's the percent chance Oklahoma State wins next year? Percent chance.
Percent.
It's
Pretty
low.
slim.
How low?
3, 4.
No, more than that.
But even with it used to be like, okay, Penn State, they got guys everywhere, but if an injury happens, like, oh, it's like trouble. But
You take out Levi Haynes' entire points from this tournament. They still win by a lot.
I know.
And
That's
you
this
could probably
year.
take off another.
That's this year.
Would you wager $1 versus somebody else's 20 that they win?
Yeah, it's only $1.
Yeah.
Okay, would you wager $100 versus somebody's $2,000?
$2,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I would.
You would give me $100 if Oklahoma State doesn't win next year.
If
You
would
get
give
2,000.
Yeah, if
They do?
the whole others, I get $2,000 if they win.
Yeah,
Yes.
Shake them.
I'm not ready to do that yet.
Oh,
I think we're fine.
Let the record show. I put my hand out to shake, and Michael Caliendo over here, he don't want to shake my hand, and that's you know what? Here in America, that is his right.
I think you're just lucky.
How about that?
I think
Did you
you're-
see what just happened?
I saw it. I think you're just lucky that he doesn't have a set of ankle bands on him because he might have thrown him
You
at
might have thrown it at me. That's a team point too.
Next time I see ankle bands, they're going to all y'all's faces, and then you can see what a crime it was.
All right, Dominic Montano has a theory here. He says, crazy theoretical, but Braden Thompson is off the Oklahoma State roster page, and some suggest he's trying to get a medical hardship year and transfer. But if Ryder is in need of shoulder surgery and could potentially medical next season, wouldn't it make more sense just to stay at Oklahoma State? I don't think so. Not happening.
I believe that ship has sailed and is, yeah. I don't know where Braden will go, but I think that's over. And, I do anticipate Ryder to get his shoulder fixed. Shoulders are tough. What's the time frame for a return? I don't know. But, hopefully you see him in the lineup next year. But, you don't know. That's a serious thing.
Yeah.
Shoulders stink.
Yeah, they tend to stick around. AZ wrestling fan, Iowa lineup next year. Not as bad as we thought. Block could high AA. Keeter title contender. Bailey started looking better towards the end. DeLuca's potential. On and on. We already kind of talked about the Iowa lineup, but one thing maybe we didn't talk about yet, or maybe we did. Nasir back to 33. What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe it's something where if a good 33 hits the portal, you get that guy, or if a good 41 hits and, hey, Nasir could still go down, they do that. Yeah.
One thing about Iowa, if they're thinking of any kind of coaching change in addition or something, a lot of times a coach will come over with a wrestler, and it won't be like,
Oh, yeah.
We actively sought just that wrestler. It's like a coach will say, I'm looking for a move, and I'm bringing this guy with me. Mm-hmm. And I have no knowledge of anybody actually doing that, but that's something where, I didn't realize that was that guy was thinking of moving or whatever.
They should get Kale.
They should,
And then,
they should get killed.
You'll get, in a couple years, they'll get Teague.
all right, Matt Moran. Listen how little faith he had in
What
us.
in the heck, Matt?
Matt, I'm a poor boy, so this probably won't be acknowledged. Listen, we're
Wrong.
acknowledging you, Matt Moran.
You are heard.
Do you think DT will make portal moves?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course he
Yes.
will.
I do.
Yes.
I do think so. We don't know who's in the portal yet. That's not till April Fool's Day.
April the Fools.
Yeah, so
We were joking before the show. It'd be funny if like a really good wrestler just with a bad read on the situation just like goes in the portal. This is a gag against their
Got
coach.
you, coach.
Got
And
you,
then he's
coach.
like, your scholarship's pulled.
Yeah, man. All right, Kevin Mulder, in your post-finals reaction video, you said Trumbull was the best guy at heavyweight this year. I understand that sentiment, but Tay should have won that semifinal. He was so close to takedowns twice and should have finished both. I get Trumbull was excellent, but Tay should have won.
I mean, that's sort of Trumbull's game. Like, yeah, you can get close on takedowns.
Younger got close.
Those are 0-point moves. I don't agree that he should have won. I would say he could have won that semifinal. And if they wrestled again, maybe he does, but he did not. He was the best guy. And Isaac Trumbull left no doubt. And NC State, back-to-back years with the champ, Pat Pop continues to do a great job. They had some guys with maybe not the, Biskins and Singleton finishing off the podium, but they know how to win national titles at NC State.
Bobby C, 1020. Odd. I think this should say odds.
Odds.
I don't think we're calling AJ Ferrari odd here. Odds AJ Ferrari enters the portal, and what would top destinations be? That is interesting.
It is interesting. So I feel like the decision, here's the reality. They have Cade Ziola,
Yep.
okay? So really, I feel like this is not an AJ decision necessarily. I'll get to how it could be. But like Mark Manning's got to decide, do I want 4 years of Cade Ziola or 1 more year of AJ Ferrari? First off, Cade is a Nebraska kid. He's from the Omaha area, right down the road. AJ, everyone knows what AJ I think can be at heavyweight, although maybe that's more of a question. But like the reality is he was sixth place at this tournament, and that could be the reality next year too. He's not big, and AJ is a guy who's relied on physicality and strength to be the best, and he is not going to be the biggest, strongest heavyweight no matter what. So I think Coach Manning has a decision there. Now, does AJ say, Coach, I'll go down to 97, redshirt Camden McDaniel, I'll do this for the team, and then Ziola gets in. That is the one way I think it works perfectly. But if I'm Mark Manning, I don't want to lose Cade Ziola. I don't. I think there's a lot of potential there. I think culture-wise, Cade Ziola is someone you want on your team. And I'm sure there's other teams at the gates being like, hey, Cade, what are you going to do? Are you going to watch next year? Or what's going to happen there? So that's my read on the AJ situation. I think the most synergy comes with him going down. Does he think he can do that again?
Quick shout out to the Omaha area you mentioned.
Right.
Ziola, but then you had 2 finalists. You had Antrell and Isaac Trumbull was a champ.
Yes.
MWC, Zach Dominguez, pretty well done. Just want to get that.
Very
out.
well
Almost All-American in Garrett Grice.
Dude, this would have been a party for Garrett Grice. It's so close.
Millard South with 2 NCAA finalists is insane. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was
high school. Same number of finalists as Blair.
Yeah. All right.
Blair of the Midwest, they're calling it.
They are. That's what they've been saying.
MWC, pretty good wrestling club.
Very good.
CB, which wrestler had the most surprising tournament? I'd say Valencia or Rabadou. I have a very strong opinion, but you guys go ahead.
I would say Rabadou.
Okay.
Because
Really?
yes, I thought Valencia could make the final out of the bottom half, and I thought he's a tough matchup for
You
Shane.
were also saying Shane, not locked.
I
but
know.
You were driving that train home.
For sure. But
See a 10 seed, and you tell me he runs that gauntlet.
guys,
We all knew he was capable, but
no.
he just didn't win
No.
these tournaments. He didn't win these tournaments.
listen, it's not about Aiden. It's about PJ Duke. And I know you felt this way. You can't rewind the tape.
I know.
We wrote this off. I know for a fact we would have been open to Aiden Valencia beating Shane Van Ness and
Sure.
Jackson Joy. We were not open to that until it happened. And you can talk about the circumstances around the match. I did not think that was going to happen. And we also knew he had to go through Caleb Larkin just to get to him. We already saw that he lost that match. If you start on Thursday morning and ask this question, and you told us both of those things happened, I believe we would both say Robidoux is more surprising.
That's probably fair.
I think you got to give Gabe Arnold another shout out in this situation, and I think Caesar Alvin.
That's my answer.
You liked yelling Alvin every time he came up in the watch party.
Funny. We were doing that too.
doing that?
Yeah, I was like, it's such a our time period.
Alvin
like,
and the Chipmunks.
doing that.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
But, I mean, dude, the guy beats D. Lockett, and it's like, oh wow, like he beat D. Lockett. Maybe he can place. He gets third.
Yeah.
Third place. Donnie Pritzloff and the Columbia Lions. Columbia outplaced Cornell and every other Ivy and Penn and every other. Or no, I think Penn actually placed the highest as far as Ivy League schools. But either way, great season for Columbia and awesome things happen in Morningside Heights with Coach Pritzloff.
Yeah, Columbia. Yeah, Alvin for me. Yeah, he was.
No, they beat Penn.
They beat Penn.
Oh, they did big Penn.
They lined up all the Ivies lined up in order for us.
All those smart guys.
Columbia, Cornell, Penn, Princeton.
Harvard and Brown's on the way up too.
That is crazy. Columbia, when they won the Ivy dual meet championship this year, was like unreal.
Yeah.
But then to do this,
Yep.
especially with Alvin.
Yeah, honestly, Cornell is always so good at this tournament. I just can't believe that what happened.
Joy and Ruiz.
Yeah, two seeds not placed. Cornella, his draw was good to place. He didn't like. It's
Higher seventh.
Eighth.
Eighth, you're right. Defaulted. Sorry.
Which I was open to that at 157, but yeah, I give grace to Cornell. That's never really happened before.
It's something we were talking about with Bader, who we called Markel Baker all weekend. But Missouri had that year where they had like 10 NCAA qualifiers. I think they won Big 12 and then didn't have any All-Americans.
Yep.
And it was like everyone was like panicking, like, oh man, Brian Smith lost the magic and whatever. And then no, they're still good. They're fine. Hopefully Cornell, same thing. But that Cornell performance related to this question from Sam, which team performance was most surprising? Iowa solid tournament, Stanford's awesome tournament, Ohio State awful tournament, Iowa State awful tournament, and then of course you got Cornell in there too.
Yeah.
What do you guys? Did any team's performance stand out the most?
I think I'll mention Stanford just because on the one hand, if you told me all the things that happened in a vacuum, I was like, okay, that like there was nothing that insane, but it's just it doesn't all happen like that. A team that lost All-American Hunter Garvin and Lorenzo Norman, who's really good, to have EJ Parco, who didn't place, but just have the tournament he had as like he's kind of like the middleweight Gabe Arnold, went up 2 weights for the team. I'm just really impressed with what Stanford has done, is doing. I think they return everyone close to.
Provo got one more.
Although honestly, Provo and Cardenas, like he left it out there. He didn't end up placing. Like could have been a little better. So they did really well. As you look at Ohio State's finish, Bouzakis is a pretty surprising DNP. Losing to Klinsky, I wouldn't have expected that. He lost to Moran, who he had not lost to. Yeah, it was Moran, right? Yeah. Styles not placing. Feldman is clearly hurt. Something's up with Nick. But they got Patty on the podium. That's a really cool story. So it's all a few little things can happen and make a tournament look really, really bad. And I think that's more the reality than.
Yeah. Pleasure brought up Klinsky again, like Ryder having another All-American and Klinsky and having him do it his senior year, having qualified before, had never reached the podium, and then go through the guys that he did. I mean, that would have been
Bouzakis and Dean Peters.
Yeah, beating a
biggest
Jersey guy,
long
DNP
shot
for the podium.
Another feel-good All-American, kind of Wyatt Henson, who we briefly mentioned. Like, think about this, a guy who, comes from his dad, who is a legend.
The Bull.
Right? And this is a guy who was highly touted recruit, wrestled in Who's Number One, goes to Iowa, goes to Oklahoma. It's not panning out like he thought it would. Ends up at a smaller program like Lock Haven. Still, he's having a good,
solid year,
solid career, but it's like he's never going to, achieve the podium. And then goes and beats an Iowa guy in the round of 12 to make the podium. Like, that was kind of a cool moment, I'm sure, for him.
Cool.
Yeah.
Carter Noggle,
Yes.
What an amazing story that is, losing in round one. And then you just talk to this kid. It's like, oh, man, these kids are so freaking impressive, like as on the human level. And then he get fifth or fourth? Like he wasn't just like he was into the top six. You're like, oh, okay, probably favored to get sixth. And he won another match, maybe two.
He just kept winning.
He's just good.
Yeah.
American, getting an All-American, 184.
Caleb
Campos.
That was impressive.
We got to put the poor boys on pause because we got a $20 super chat.
Sorry, broke boys.
Yeah. Burke Hawk for life. CP, can you put to rest the 157 versus 133 debate? More crazy stuff happened at 157. So does that mean it was the tougher overall weight?
Well, I'm unchanged in my opinion that it was the toughest weight overall. Yeah, I'll stick with that.
What do you guys think entertainment value-wise? Which one had more?
33, it just had the better story with Jax.
Yeah, I'm still picking.
It's all about the Super Bowl for me, the one match.
Yeah.
They didn't end the tournament
The
at.
match wasn't that great.
No.
They didn't end the tournament at 157. They ended it at 133.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe
And-
Warren. Whoa, go ahead.
Well, I was also just going to say, like, best versus hardest
Right.
can be two different things. And how do you determine hardest? Is it hardest to win or is it hardest to place eight?
The hardest thing might be having to win the weight that PJ Duke's in.
And that could be true. That could be final boss. You could also say Jax's final boss of a weight. There's no
Yourself.
argument. There's no argument which is harder to place eighth at to make the podium.
Yeah.
That was always 157. That doesn't. If that's your determinant of the hardest weight, then
I think there were more potential champions at 57 than 33.
Yeah. By that, I think. It was always we were making the distinction. Like I'm open to arguments. What was harder, and I could be swayed that it's 157. But if you were to pick a weight, you get one weight class to watch for all NCAAs. I'd pick 133. And I did pick it.
Cool.
And I watched it.
All right.
You didn't watch 57.
I closed my eyes the whole time.
protest.
You couldn't bird box me into watching it.
All right. Bobby Kebbell, is Mesenbrink the pick to make the world team? Last year, Caliendo closed the gap, and now Mitchell widened it again. Looks like he has jumped to another level. I mean, this is a question about Mesenbrink and David Carr.
This one is divided the Piles household. As I told Caleb, I was like, I think Mitchell's going to make the team. He's like, absolutely not. He said David Carr's winning a world title this year. I'm like, all right, I'm with that too. I think both are possibilities. I think we could have the world champion, but we only get to send one. And I don't know, just the Mitchell.
He beat him at the Open
He beat him at the
last
Open.
year.
Yeah,
Like, it is very much on the table.
it's on the table for sure. He's my pick, not my son's.
All right. By the way, just got a word from our producer, Greg. We do have a hard out coming up in 6 to 7 minutes. I think he just wanted to make the joke for the
Oh, wow.
teens.
Grow up, Craig.
But
Thank God I have to pee so bad.
Me too. I'm hurting.
I am
you
too.
let me know when you guys are ready to tap
Okay.
out. We got it right now. A question from Master Santiago. After Iowa's great NCAA performance, do you think the Brands brothers cooled their seat down? We've kind of talked about this.
Temporarily.
Yeah.
Seat's a little less. It's a little less warm.
But one thing I'll say on that is like Tom and the athletic director, they vibe. They're good. That's a very strong relationship, and that matters.
I also don't think Brands, in the way they are wired, kind of like we talked about earlier, is like we are satisfied with a fourth place finish
Certainly not.
at NCAAs. Like they want to win.
All right. What do you think about this? Sipped it. Are David Taylor / Oklahoma State on good terms with Cale Sanderson / Penn State, or is there some legit bad blood beyond rivalry competitiveness?
I don't know if I want to say bad blood, but good terms I wouldn't say. I mean, I think in the initial, I don't think it was super bad. Like Cale didn't want him to go and tried to, keep him, and wasn't able to do that. And then I think as the dust has settled, as David got into their roles, I think they realized like, oh wait, we are just after the same kids, the same things. And I think it's, there's, I don't want to say there's no relationship there, but I mean, pretty close to it.
It's going to be, they're, like you said, they're competing for the same kids. They're putting their whole life and all of their family and everybody that the kids that they're coaching, they're all in direct competition, head to head, constantly, all the time, 24/7. So it's just going to be different.
To quote Tom Brands, I don't know if this made the DeSanto Spencer Lee film, but I remember this quote. He said, "It's a very competitive thing that we do, and it's personal."
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to say that and know that. He was talking about just like, dealing with, I think, losing and stuff like that. It's like, this is competitive and it's personal. It's like what you're doing is personal. So I think
Michael Scott, business is always personal.
that's right. That's right. It is personal. It is. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Curbside profit. What's harder to prepare for? The aggression of Jax or the defense of Vega? They are actually.
I don't know.
Jeez.
Man.
I honestly don't know. I think the defense of Vega is definitely like. I mean, you haven't seen anyone score on him. With Jax, you could say, well, if I hadn't gone to my back here and this weird thing, I might have won the match. But with Vega, it's like, well, everything starts and stops with the fact that you just can't score on him. I don't know.
Before the NCAA finals, I definitely would have said the defense of Vega. Not that I think they are comparable in the fact of like the level of Vega's defense versus the levels of Jack's aggression. But before the NCAA final, I would have said, okay, well, you can prepare for the defense of Vega by not engaging. You are just not going to not engage in Jax's firestorm.
Yeah.
But then Davino kind of slowed him down.
Slow him down a little bit.
A little bit. Now, does Jax wrestle a different match if it's not the NCAA finals? Maybe a little bit, but I don't know.
It was winning time.
It was winning time, and I think Davino's also just really good. So I'll say the defense of Vega because you can just like kind of not engage and kind of stall. Jax will make you wrestle him, whether you want to or not.
The thing about the defense of Vega that I find really fun to watch is that it's not just like you can't score on him. It's like he will pin you.
Yeah.
Like he will threaten
Yeah.
to pin you. And so it's just a different level.
That's why multiple times this year it would be 1-1 or 0-0, and then he would get 6 points for the Cowboys just because he would get a cradle and pin.
Don't do that one. Let's see if there's anyone.
Or the voice.
Don't do that one.
We've already covered that. We're getting close.
Who's it? No, look at the last one.
Let's look at this last one here.
Okay, we'll end with this one. Is Vega over Mendez on the level with White over Gable? No.
No.
At no point. Everyone was thinking this could happen. Going into the tournament, some people were, but certainly going into that final, everyone thought Vega could do it, and no one thought that about Wyatt.
You just have to hear the crowd's reaction to say everything after both
Yeah,
those
that's
matches.
the craziest thing I've.
All Jesse has to do, though, is win a couple of Olympic gold medals, though, and then we retroactively look at it.
Yeah, then we look at it differently.
Okay, can we call it?
Bursting?
Yes.
I wish we
I'm
could go 10
afraid. I'm
more
afraid to
minutes.
run over there.
All right. We're done. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So much more NCAA stuff to unpack on Thursday's show. We'll get into that. Thank you so much to Nike Wrestling for supporting. And special thanks to you for listening so faithfully this entire NCAA season. Just a couple more minutes here. Look at him. Look at him.
Oh, my gosh. He looked trouble.
Like,
Oh, he couldn't make it. Oh, he's going right by the door. No, JD, you got to at least make it to the bathroom.
disgusting. See ya.